Okay, so here we are in Barbados, and today's flight is going to be pretty short. Get my map up here. And just going to be doing a quick flight from Barbados up to Princess Julianna on St. Maarten. And our flight actually only has, I think, 3 waypoints. And then we're already at our or we already begin our approach then at that point, so get in the cockpit. And we'll get this started. And Tango Bravo, Papa Bravo to TNCM. Got the weight of 2 passengers. 250 pounds of cargo. We're cruising at 25,000 feet today. And so now we can go to our departure. And it's just going to be a direct departure off of runway 9. And for our arrivals, we're taking the VOR DME Zulu to runway 10 via the I think the Gouda transition? No. Let's see. So I only see 3 of these on the chart. I'll actually show the chart here. We're coming in from SFAN, and then entering the arc, so I think I'll just leave off the transitions, hit execute, and I'll take a look at that once we're in. I have the avionics on, and I can use the plan view to sort of zoom in on that. So if we go to progress, we can see our wind is, say, 095 at 7. .095 at 7. Temperature 27. And if we start engine 2, we can get our altimeter. Just waiting for 20%. There we go, so we can hit run. And when the starter light goes out, I will turn on the avionics. There is an ATIS at this airport, but when we tried using it 2 days ago, it was bugged out, so we'll just use the old-fashioned way of setting our altimeter to the airfield elevation. Okay, starter light is out. And one thing I did forget to do is hit reset on the fuel management. Okay, we'll turn avionics on. Go ahead and start engine 1. And so airfield elevation is 170. And so we'll say 2995. go to performance, takeoff, 2995, dry runway conditions, anti-ice off, flaps 15, got a rotate of 94 knots today, hit send, go back to index, and progress page, turn the climate control and air source to normal, pitot heat on, we'll get the autopilot configured, so we'll turn LNAV on, vertical speed at 3000, set our cruising altitude in, and 250 knots, and double check we've got our V speeds over here, which we do. Now we should be able to take the parking brake off, and start our taxi. Okay. Just gonna turn around this guy. Or lady. I think she had her hair in a bun. Yes. Okay, takeoff trim set. And we'll put the flaps down once we're closer to the end of the runway. And one thing that I should turn the seatbelt sign on.
The captain has turned on the seatbelt sign. Please fasten your seatbelt and shoulder harness at this time. Thank you.
One thing that at least I've never been able to do with the CJ4 after the 1.8.3 update, I think, was fly an RNAV approach. Because in order to fly an RNAV, you have to be in approach mode, but approach mode doesn't follow the flight plan as far as I'm aware, and it doesn't capture GPS glide slopes, at least after the update. And someone on the forums said that if you fly to the final fix on your flight or the approach, it'll intercept or capture the glide slope, but I've flown several RNAV approaches since the update at multiple airfields, and the glide slope has never captured on any of them. So I have no idea what they're talking about. Almost at the end of the runway. So we'll put flaps down to 15 degrees. Turn the landing light and strobe light on. Okay, finals clear. Runway is clear. And set takeoff power. And we're pretty light today, so we're rotating at 94 knots. So rotate. Gear up. Go flaps up. Start a left turn now. Power back to 90-ish% N1. Whoa, a little bit too much of a turn there. Okay, I'll turn the autopilot on. So here's a good look at the island of Barbados. Okay, so what I wanted to do first is look at the plan view, make sure the approach looks correct. More or less it's correct. Actually, what it should do is go from Spada up to... there's another waypoint out here. So I might have to do this manually. Pass it to 10,000 feet, take the landing light off. And I'll take the nav light off too. Increase power to 90% N1. Let me see if we take this. Oh, I think it's just I don't know what the CM is, but I think S fans are transition. Yes, there it is. The CM in front of it threw me off. Okay, that looks more like our approach. So we go Zapata to S-Fan, and then S-Fan up to 10 DME from the Princess Julianna VOR. or St. Maarten VOR, I think it might be. And then we fly this 10 DME arc up to Galubu, I think. Let's see, get the actual name of it. Approach, VR Zulu. So here's S-Van. So we come in from S-Van, intercept this 10 DME arc, and Uluba, that's it. So that's this fix right here, and then we turn, and then we fly a 096 degree course into the St. Maarten VOR, and so it should be 113.0. So if we go to our index, next, and so it's not on this page, which, I mean, that kind of makes sense. So if we go to database, and it should be PJM. Put that in. We have 113.0. So that checks out. And we're above 18,000 feet. Turn the seatbelt sign off. And set standard. Okay, so we've got 113.0. Go to tuning. 113.0. Put that into nav1. And we're approaching our cruising altitude, 25,000 feet. And once we establish our cruise, I'm just gonna get something to eat. Yeah, I'm thinking we probably won't be cruising at Mach 0.74 just because of how low we are. Yeah, so we'll cruise at about 300 knots. Hey, we got a tailwind though. It's comes out to a 10 knot tailwind component. I'll take it. Okay, got our cruise power set. I'll just keep monitoring the speed. And we're already down to 356 miles to the airfield in about 45 minutes. So I'll get something to eat, and I'll also plan out our descent. And I'll probably be back in a couple minutes. Okay, so got the approach, or rather top of descent figured out, so we're going to descend at 2100 feet per minute, starting at 47 miles to Zapata, which is this point right here. So probably just after crossing this Anu VOR, that's when we're going to start our descent. It'll be interesting to see how well I can land this, because yesterday, I don't know how, but I managed to either sprain or restrain my right wrist. So about a year and a half ago, or possibly 2 years ago, I was in a bicycle accident, and I basically low-sided at about 20 miles an hour, and I tore it wasn't a bad tear, but I did tear a ligament in the middle top section of my right wrist. So yesterday I was just waving my arms around for no reason, and somehow I think I may have possibly restrained it. However, it's actually in a different part of my wrist than when I was in the bike accident, which makes me think it could be related to the job I had before I got, or before coronavirus happened. Because I was basically like a lumberyard worker, so I was basically moving wood around all day by hand. So it could also be related to that. The job might have just worn my ligaments down a bit. But I'm not a doctor, so all I know is my wrist hurts, and I can't bend it backwards. So we got 25 minutes to Zapata, 16 to Anu. So I think we have about 19 to 20 minutes until we start our descent. Ugh, I love these short flights. So much fun. I think I actually was practicing a TBM flight out of this island here. It was either this one or the one back there. But I think it was this one. If there's an airfield right here, I think it was that one. Just have to give it a second to load everything in. Yeah, I think I flew from TDCF up to Princess Juliana in the TBM. Which, it was a pretty difficult place to take off from, just because there's these really tall mountains right here. It's a cool island. Kind of looks like a big lily pad. Since we have just a couple minutes here, I want to see what the distance is for this next flight. So, TNCM and Nassau is MYNN. Ooh, 900 miles in. About Key West. KEYW. 1100, okay, so stick to Nassau. Good morning. I was thinking maybe if it was like 700 miles to Nassau and like 900 to Key West, I might just go to Key West instead since it's a little bit closer. I mean, it's like marginally closer. But, yeah, it's already 900 to the Bahamas. So I think we'll just stick with the original plan to head up to the Bahamas, Atlanta, and finish the tour up in Wisconsin. Okay, so we're 70 out from Anu. Got 18 minutes to Zapata. So I'm thinking about 10 to 11 minutes and we're starting our descent already. It's an interesting island. So this island is French Guadeloupe. Ooh, there's an airport right there. I think you showed up at a good time, just about pretty close to our descent. Okay, and this island with the Anu VOR is Antigua. This island up here is Barbuda. This is a UK-owned island called Montserrat. So that's St. Kitts and Nevis. Which is St. Kitts the one with Saba? Could be wrong. Okay, so St. Kitts isn't Saba. Good to know. Oh, there it is. That's Saba. It's a tiny circle island right here. And then you've got St. Maarten up here. And St. Bart's is just to the south. So this, now it's covered by the writing, but it's right here. looks like a cool place to visit, but it also looks like it's a very popular tourist area, in which case I would never want to come here. I'm one of those people where, like, the place with the least amount of people is gonna be my favorite vacation spot. Like, if someone offered me a trip to North Dakota and, like, the mountains, I'd be like, sign me up. I don't care if it's like -10. I'm used to that kind of weather anyway. Let's go there. But like Florida beach, California beaches, Hawaii, no thanks. Okay, so I think I said that this was Montserrat, and this is Antigua. It's kind of funny, because it's just starting to get cold now where I live. And so it's maybe like 40, 50 degrees outside, and you want to wear like a long sleeve shirt, maybe a jacket. But you really don't start wearing a actual like coat until it gets down to like a little bit below 30. But then in the spring, when we're coming out of winter, it'll be like 25 degrees outside, but as long as the sun is out, you could be like walking around in a t-shirt. I remember last year I was taking my dog on a walk with shorts and a t-shirt. It was like 31 degrees outside. You just kind of get used to the cold. When it's like -10, or not -10, if it's like 5 or 10 degrees for a week and it goes up to 30, it's a huge difference. I'm kind of like my dog in the heat. I just kind of lay down and just die wherever I am. Which actually, I don't think it even got... There were only a handful of days this year where it got above 90. So I think I said this is St. Kitts. Don't remember what that was. Forgot that already. I think this is St. Bart's. And then Saba's kind of off the map up here. Start our descent now. Yeah, for me, anything above 85 feels very hot. 90 is no bueno. And if it's over 100, that's like avoid going outside at all costs temperature. Granted, Wisconsin is really humid in the summer, so 90 degrees with like 60-70% humidity is pretty bad, but even still. Actually, in the winter, I think we also have pretty high humidity. I think it still stays at like high 40s and 50%. It is a lot drier, but compared to like other places, like one day I was looking at the temperature and dew point somewhere, or humidity, and it was like 20%. I think I was looking at like Poland. It was like 70 degrees, 20% humidity. I'm like, what? There's places in the world where it's not this humid all the time? Ooh, I should probably check the VOR. Ooh, we're picking it up. Nice. Let me just set the course here real quick. It is 069? Or 096. Ah. So close. Actually, the humidity in the winter is pretty nice because it kind of keeps your skin from drying out as quick, so you don't get as itchy. I gotta go one minute. My dog is singing the song of his people. My dad just left to the hospital, so he's howling. I'll be back in a minute. Okay, I'm back. Goofy dog. Okay, so I believe this is Saba. It's that island with the ridiculously short runway. Wow, that's a cool island. more like volcano with some land attached to it. And I believe I'm hearing thunder again. Oh, whoops, we're below 10,000 feet. 304 is a little fast. Turn the seatbelt sign on.
The captain has turned on the seatbelt sign. Please fasten your seatbelt and shoulder harness at this time. Thank you.
That'll be our excuse when we get a call from the tower. Why were you going above 250 knots, below 10,000 feet? Sorry, it's a glitch with the autopilot. Believe it or not, it's safer to go faster. Okay, just to brief this approach, coming in from S-Van, flying this 10 DME arc, intercepting a 096 inbound radial, and as we're flying through this arc, I'll descend to 1,600 feet. When we reach De Beer, we'll descend to minimums, which should be at the bottom, 500 feet. Yeah, for me, flight level change right here. Before the Japan update, Working Title actually did a good job of sort of making it less extreme. But because of the Japan update, this is just, it's a guaranteed way to end up in a dolphin dance. And then if you get too slow with altitude captured or vertical speed, you'll also end up bouncing around. And as well, you cannot follow VOR courses or localizers in approach mode because it'll like get close to the center line and overshoot a bit, then it will start overcorrecting and it just keeps sort of getting bigger and bigger. So the autopilot is pretty fragile right now, to say the least. Whoa, what happened here? Yeah, whatever they did to the autopilot, it's getting some pretty bad feedback loops. Like, I was pretty bad at designing controllers in college, but I think even I could have possibly done a better job. Right, so I need the weather real quick. 0808 knots, 30 degrees. Approach. 080, 8 knots, 30 degrees. I think that's what I said. Yep. And 1016 on the QNH. Which is probably like 301. Oh, just 3000. Yeah, I think it's a pretty easy problem to fix. They just have to adjust the whatever algorithm they have controlling the autopilot. Okay, hit send. So our VREF is 103 and our approach is 109. And it should descend to 1600 feet. But yeah, it looks like it's mostly just a feedback loop issue. Uh-oh, dog is singing again. Okay, once the plane sort of initiates this right-hand turn, I'm going to go to heading mode, since approach mode can't hold us on this course. Yeah. Usually he's okay when people leave. But for whatever reason today, he's being sad. Alright, we're pretty close, so I'm gonna do a heading hold. See the runway edge identifier lights out there. And we're just going to hold 1600 feet until we pass De Beer. And actually, I might be able to show you what happens if you go to approach. I don't know why it canceled my altitude hold. Let's see if we can break the autopilot here. Okay, so now we're on the course line, but it flew past it, so now it's going to correct to the right. crossing course line again. Is it actually holding a course line? Oh, we're passing De Beer. Let's descend. Let's go gear down, flaps down. Yeah, well, call me impressed. It's actually doing a pretty good job. Okay, we're coming in. Go full flaps. Fly over everyone's head at the beach.
500.
We got the speed brake up. Start braking. Not the stablest of approaches, but we're alive. Flaps up, speed brake up. The taxi light, landing light off. Strobe light off. And I meant to say taxi light on. We'll park next to that turboprop over there. Okay. That sound is just the throttle at idle because of the noise in my X52. It kind of like jumps between 0 and 1%. Kind of makes the clicking noise. So go parking brake on.
Oral warning, okay.
Avionics off. Climate control, air source, pitot heat, lights, engines, generators, and battery. Okay, so that was a nice short flight. Oh, I meant to show you the airfield I was talking about the other day. Forgot. So the airfield is called Notre Dame de la Salette, and so this is what it looks like in real life. So pretty crazy little field there. But because of the default scenery in Microsoft Flight Simulator, like this right here is like a really sharp angle, so if you hit it, it's gonna destroy the plane. And there's kind of like a sharp line sort of dividing this, so it's kind of tricky to actually land there. I was thinking of trying to use like the scenery editor to fix it, but it's a lot of work and kind of beyond my understanding of how to use it. Actually, I might be able to just show it real quick. But yeah, that's the end of this flight. We'll pick it up from there to the Bahamas tomorrow. So let me just take a plane that won't kill me when I pop in there. I'll set. Set arrival just because it's kind of weird. That could be a good idea. Let's go over here. I think it's on either this one, this one. Here it is. Like, it's not the worst, but I should slow the camera down again. I hate that they added the active pause on there. Makes it harder to use. Like, hitting this with the wheels of the plane is pretty violent. And this isn't too bad. There's a little bit of a bump right here that is also pretty violent if you hit it. And you can see it's kind of, in the video you just kind of come up to like here and it's flat, but in here it's like you actually can't get a lot of planes to even power up to the top of the hill. And I don't think these trees are actually here in real life. So I think I might actually try to mess around with the SDK. I think it would be a good way to practice. And then you actually take off down this slope right here. Really cool airfield, especially at the view down the valley. Yep. Definitely not easy. Especially because you have to make the turn. You got to keep it tight to this ridge line up here. And then you really got to slow it down to touch down slow enough here. So I might actually try that today. Just mess around with it a bit. So yeah, that'll be pretty much it for today. I'll go check on my dog. But yeah, so thanks for watching. Definitely a lot of fun. And we'll pick this up on Friday, so 2 days from now.